Mark Williams is used to winning the big ones. Parker Bohn III trying to get off the schneid this year. He's 0-4 in the championship round. We're ready to go.
All right. One of the three left-handers in today's field will shoot first on the left gleaming lane. Parker Bohn III. Zeroed in early. Mark Williams hails from Beaumont, Texas. He won here in Windsor Locks in 1985. The 10-pin, I mentioned he won in 85. My colleague, Nelson Burton Jr., up until 1976, he was the only champion here at Bradley Bowl because he won in 1974 and 75.
Thank you, Chris. This is the second oldest stop on the PBA Tour, the Showboat being the oldest.
All right. Strike and a spare. Strike for Bohn, who's moved over to the other seat now as Mark Williams will go to the left lane.
Chris, it's almost unbelievable that Mark Williams, as good as he is, hasn't won a tournament since 1988. Last year he won $123,000. He wasn't in the winner's circle. This guy knows how to play.
Shots like that. And now, Parker Bohn with a strike up. He'll be shooting in the second frame. This is our first match. Parker's 43rd television appearance. He's 0-4 this year. Oh, yes. One of the Narragansett scouts came across.
Well, Chris, Parker, as you said, is 0-4, but as he goes up and checks the approach there, he hit his hand so hard his watch came flying off. There you go. Now he's got a watch on his right hand.
That would have made a great commercial.
The old Timex commercials. John Cameron Swayze.
You got it.
Parker got a great break, though, knocking out the 7-pin. Let's see if he can make it 3 in a row. Opening match.
No breaks that time, leaving a 7-pin on the left lane.
Here's a shot. He just gets a little bit light. Watch the action of the 4-pin. The second pin on the left-hand part of your screen just doesn't quite have enough enthusiasm for the 7. Almost gets a little love tap from behind. Parker across lane.
Ranked 3rd in the PBA. High ranking for this 32-year-old. Capacity crowd, in fact, standing room only. Added bleachers and filled the capacity parallel to the championship pair, but away from them. Mark's hooking the shot now, isn't he?
Chris, I think he has as good a versatility as anybody on the tour, right up there with Walter Ray Williams Jr. and the Brian Vosses of the PBA Tour. He can throw straight, he can hook it big, or he can even throw the backup cut shot. So really no chinks in his armor, just a matter of concentrating, being aggressive. And I believe for the right-handers, this is the key lane. This lane hooks a lot more. You really have to give it a lot of room.
Crossing over, and he has left the 3-pin.
As we said, the left-hand lane hooks a little bit more, and you see Mark to the extreme left side of the approach and throws it between the 3rd and 4th arrows, but still doesn't have the speed and give it enough room. This lane, I remember from years and years, Chris, even though they're synthetics, you just got to really trust the ball.
Okay, we have an all-even match here in Windsor Locks. This city in Connecticut named for, you guessed it, the Locks, and that's what one looks like. The enthusiastic crowd, they love bowling in the area. fact, they drive many, many miles to come see live telecast and their favorite bowlers. And that's why. Parker Bohn, one of the smooth left-handers.
Chris, and one of the reasons he is so good is he has such little vertical movement with his head on the way of the foul line. Let's take a look at how he sets up and how smooth he is. Reminds me of Earl Anthony or Brian Voss or whatnot. We'll catch him setting on the approach. He wants a shot somewhere around in here. He's going to slide in this area. He's going to slide in this area. But the key to Parker is watch how very little head movement he has as he goes to the foul line. You're going to see his head almost perfectly still all the way through the shot.
And then he gets a 3-7.
Didn't get the lift that time. A little different. Parker's using tape in the front of his thumb hole for the first time ever in a championship round. And he's a little suspect how to get out of the thumb hole. With this 3-7, he needs to get to the right of the 7-pin, slide it, the right of the 3-pin, excuse me, and slide it over into the 7. He can do it.
So it is an open frame for Parker, who's in his 5th telecast this year. His record is 3/3, 1/5. Now, he has 11 championships, Parker does, and he's won 8 of 9 from the top spot. Rainbow. Next Saturday, ABC's Professional Bowlers Tour stops in Toledo, Ohio for the 2nd challenge of bowling's Triple Crown. It's an arena final. Savage Hall, University of Toledo. It's the PBA National Championship. So watch at 3 Eastern and Pacific next Saturday here on ABC Sports.
Second jewel in bowling's Triple Crown. Now, Mark Williams, 6th frame, going for 22-pin lead.
Leaves a 10.
This is about as good as I've seen Mark Williams bowl, and by all means is he a good bowler all the time, but he's been so aggressive, so solid. Now watch how he's going to shoot this spare. Very good technique, right across the center, 10-pin, a real straight shot. Watch how flat he goes with this. No big hook on this one. Super.
Mark Williams, who has won 2 Tournament of Champions, in '85 and then in '88, his last win.
Parker Bohn messing around with his thumb hole again, Chris. He says going up and down, and that's not uncommon in the springtime of the year. It's sometimes warm in the day, cool at night, and Parker puts a piece of tape in the front of the thumb hole just to get that real good feel. He was a little bit apprehensive about it because he had never used tape in the front before in a championship round. Let's see if he can adjust.